Yo, what's up? What's going on? What's good, everybody? Here we are, May 29, 2024, the Boxing Source Midweek Report. Yeah, the Boxing Source Midweek Report. We got a looks like a stack card coming up here on June 1st. Man, it's going to be a real battle between Queensberry Promotions and Matchroom Sport, as we have the 5v5, and we're going to be going through, the matchups that will be part of this 5v5. Of course, you had the grand arrivals. That was yesterday. You had the open workouts or whatever it was. Today, you're going to have the press conference tomorrow. Most likely, you have the weigh-in on Friday, and then the action begins on Saturday. This will be on the Zhang pay-per-view in the U.S. Yep, the Zhang pay-per-view in the U.S. I think it's probably the same thing over in the U.K. or whatnot. Thought we were going to get at least one fight within that card on ESPN Plus, but given that Artur Beterbiev is out due to injury, we're not going to have Beterbiev versus Bivol for the undisputed light heavyweight championship. And because of that, I think Top Rank said, you know what, we ain't going to have Dimitri Bivol going up against Malik Zanad on ESPN Plus. Like, come on, man. Like, really? Just being real. Bivol versus Zanad? Come on, y'all. But we need to get on this real action here. We need predictions. We need picks. We want to know who y'all going to be rolling with, who y'all going to be running with here in this upcoming 5v5 card. I mean, you're going to have what it is. You got Raymond Ford versus Nick Ball, Hamza Shiraz versus Austin Amber Williams, Daniel Dubois versus Philip Hergovich, Willie Hutchinson versus Craig Richards, and of course, in the main event, Deontay Wilder versus Zhilei Zhang, right? And I'm going to see if I could go through those five matchups as much as possible. We want to get, some of these odds, these boxing odds also as well, man. I'm looking at, currently I'm on the BetMGM joint. See what I can get on the BetMGM if they're going to be having something. So I got that pulled up. I also, go through DraftKings. That's usually, where, I usually have the most action is through DraftKings. So we're going to be looking at the odds through that as well. But, with these five matchups, man, it's going to be some of them I say could be pretty close. And some of them I'm like, you know what, this might be leaning heavily towards one particular fighter. I'll definitely go through the main event last, and just go through a couple of these here as we go along. I want to go through first off this fight that's coming up between Raymond Ford and Nick Ball, right? That will be for the WBA featherweight championship. Both of these fighters are undefeated. Raymond Ford is coming in there with a record of 15 wins, 0 losses, and 1 draw. Nick Ball is coming in with a record of 19 wins, 0 losses, and 1 draw. Raymond Ford is there at 25 years old, 5'7", with a reach of 69, 70, whatever it is. And Nick Ball is there at 27 years old, and he has his height at 5'2". Ooh, 5'2". Of course, with Nick Ball, he had his last bout just a few months ago against Ray Vargas, where it was a split draw there, where, some people may have thought that Ray Vargas won that, or some people thought that, the style with Nick Ball, his aggressive style coming forward, pretty much got him, or pretty much would have got him the nod. You had Ray Vargas down twice in that bout, and it still ended up being a split draw, So Here we are with Nick Ball having yet another opportunity at a world championship, this time the WBA featherweight championship, going up against Raymond Ford. Like I said, he was able to win that WBA featherweight title with his late, and I'm talking about almost last second stoppage win over Otabek Komatov in Verona, New York. Some of y'all may have seen it over here in the U.S. It looked like it was a fairly close bout going into that last round. Me, when I was like watching it and scoring it live, I pretty much had Komatov with the upper hand going into the 12th round. And you had Raymond Ford being able to come up with that comeback there real late in the fight and having that referee be able to stop the bout. There were just seconds left in that bout. And if it went through those full 12 rounds, I mean, you would have had Komatov probably with the split decision win. But he was able to, the referee just stopped it there within the last minute or last second, and you have Raymond Ford as the world champion. Now he has his first defense here against Nick Ball. And it's going to be an interesting matchup. I think with Raymond Ford, one, he does have a really good boxing style. Just being able to use his athleticism and his youth in most cases there within the featherweight division. Like I said, he's there at 25 years old. And with Nick Ball, like I said, he has that smother, pretty much come forward smothering style, tie you up, try to get you on the inside. It gave Ray Vargas a good amount of problems, there in that bout that happened a few months ago. So that's something that you're going to have Raymond Ford, also dealing with here in this sense. So it's going to be, one of those things that's going to be a real interesting battle here, within 12 rounds. Now, the thing about it, hold on. So, my thing is that I would like to see like how one. Oh shoot, hold up. I was just on the thing for the BetMGM and then had the odds right there for the boxing, and then the whole thing just freaking disappeared. Hold up, cuz. How y'all just gonna have the odds right up there and then just have it matched up? Okay, all right, here we go. So just here looking live, like I said, with this Raymond Ford versus Nick Ball, man. Hey, BetMGM has it real close to have Raymond Ford as the real close favorite here at -150. You got Nick Ball at +125 and a draw at +1600. I don't know, man. Hey, I mean, you had, like I said, you had Nick Ball in a draw in his last bout against Ray Vargas, right? And you had Raymond Ford when he was able to win that title against Otabek Komatov, but it was really close to being 12 rounds. And his previous bout against Jesse Magdaleno was also 12 rounds, but that was like a clean unanimous decision in favor of Raymond Ford in that one. So, as far as like this kind of, being going to 12 rounds, you might want to lean towards that. I don't see it where, maybe you get like something where it could be a stoppage, so, we'll see about that. I'm going to see if I can get it in on the DraftKings. We got our guy Joe of Warwick Boxing. He says that Nick Ball will spank Raymond Ford. It's going to be interesting. Like I said, Nick Ball did have some good success there against Ray Vargas in his last bout a few months ago, where, it ended up being a split draw, even though Vargas was, down twice in that fight. So I'm like, well, maybe they had something, maybe you'll have a different result here with Raymond Ford, because, I mean, maybe Raymond Ford might not be able to deal with that particular style that Nick Ball has when, like I said, when he was coming forward. So, and the thing with Raymond Ford, what I say, he had that undefeated record. He's there with 15 wins and no losses and 1 draw. 8 of those wins by way of knockout. And Nick Ball has 11 of his 19 wins by way of knockout or stoppage. So I think it might be something where you might have the case of Nick Ball being able to overwhelm Raymond Ford over the course of, maybe 6-7 rounds or so, whatever it is, and just overwhelm him. And then also one of the key stories that we were having going into this week was with Raymond Ford. And, if you saw him in the Grand Arrivals, or maybe you've seen him, here during the workouts, particularly in the Grand Arrivals, he had like all of this, sweatsuit and all that type of stuff, looking like he was, trying to still shed weight so that he'll be able to make weight at 126, whatnot. So, maybe he still has that he has to deal with, is where he still has to work on getting his weight down, but if he's, able to get that weight down, and then, like I said, still able to, box his style, it's just something with Nick Ball having that, come forward, smother you up, get you to the ropes, work on you on the inside, is going to be able to deal with that. Now, with Brother Joe, he says that Nick Ball wins. Like I said, you had Nick Ball on plus 125 over on BetMGM, what I got, and then on DraftKings they got Nick Ball at plus 130, and Raymond Ford at minus 160. I want to try to get the thing on the DraftKings, because DraftKings, they got like more stuff that you can get on it, right? Man, they got 75% of bets placed on Raymond Ford on this thing here for DraftKings, man, and 25% for Nick Ball, and they're seriously leaning towards over 10.5 rounds for this bout. Like I was saying with those previous bouts that I mentioned with both fighters, you had the thing there with Nick Ball versus Ray Vargas, and also his bouts against Isaac Dogboe, and even with the Laduma Lamati fight that he had in May of last year, that did also go 12 rounds. He was able to get a stoppage win there, but it still went 12 rounds. And also with Raymond Ford, he also went, 12 rounds in the bout against Jesse Magdaleno and against, Otabek Komatov before, the referee Charlie Fitch stopped that bout within the last couple seconds. So seriously leaning towards 12 rounds in that. I don't know, man. That what do you say there, Joe? We got Nick Ball either by TKO or by decision on DraftKings is at least a plus 320. So if you want to go with the doubleheader of a Nick Ball win straight up on the money line, and then go by Nick Ball by TKO, you might score a little bit of a good one. Joe says also that Ray Ford should be at about 130 or 135 right now. Yeah, man. And the thing was, I thought they were saying, even after Raymond Ford's bout against Otabek Komatov, that they were talking about him moving up. So I was like, what's up with him being part of this bout here against Nick Ball, if they were intending on him moving up in weight, so that was the crazy thing. So what are you saying? So you're saying a late round stoppage there for Ball, I guess, for KO TKO. That might be a good little pull, especially if you're on the thing there for the DraftKings. So you had that. You also said that that Raymond Ford beat Ricky Medina there by unanimous decision. That was over in San Antonio there. Yeah, that was a key bout there in the featherweight division. IBF, basically an IBF eliminator of sorts there in June of 2022. That's what he's mentioned there about Raymond Ford beating Ricky Medina there. So he had that. Yeah, that could be a good pull. That could be a good pull if you're able to, get that win there. You know what I'm saying? Or at least that that doubleheader pick. Like I said, you pick Nick Ball there. You pick Nick Ball for the win straight up on the money line, and then try to go for Nick Ball for by stoppage also. You see what you get on that, and that's through DraftKings. There, if DraftKings is your preference, you could go through DraftKings and that kind of like would be your play. You are like DraftKings as far as like with the boxing, because you get those side bets or the prop bets there through the boxing. You don't really get that from some of these other ones like a BetMGM or what else I got up in here? Like FanDuel, maybe. You might not get that many prop bets on that, but DraftKings is able to, sort that out for you. But that is, like I said, once again, for the WBA Featherweight Championship. And hey, Nick Ball gets another opportunity to become a world champion there. And this might be a good shot for him to do that. So that's like the first, well, basically for me, the first bout that I was going to be previewing here. The next one is in the middleweight division, Hamza Shiraz versus Austin Williams. Austin Ammo Williams there at 16-0. Hamza Shiraz at 19-0. And you got Hamza Shiraz 19-0 with 15 of those wins by way of knockout. Austin Ammo Williams 16-0 with 11 of those wins by way of knockout. You had Ammo Williams with a win over Armel Mbumba Yasa by a KO. That was back in February in Las Vegas. And Hamza Shiraz's last bout was against Liam Williams with a first round knockout. I don't even know why they even had that particular bout, man. Like, come on. If it was, man, it's like you put Liam Williams out there for that. Like, come on. But as you see with Hamza Shiraz, like he's had a string of knockout or stoppage victories, and they've been some early bouts, and here in this one against Ammo Williams, a lot of people are leaning towards Hamza Shiraz getting a win here in this one. He says, hey man, come on, man. But this is one of those key bouts, or at least for Queensberry Promotions. This is a key bout here because Queensberry or Frank Warren named Hamza Shiraz as his team captain for Team Queensberry. And with the point system that they have, they say, hey, you get like 1 point for a decision win, 2 points for a stoppage win. But with the captains, I think they like multiply it times 2. So it's like times 2 if the captain gets a win. So 2 points for a win, or 4 points for a KO win or a stoppage win, something like that. You said, hey Joe, listen, Joe. He's gonna be this fucking. No, I'm just playing. But yeah, back to the thing there with Shiraz. Shiraz is the team captain for Queensberry, so this has little added interest, at least for Frank Warren, for him to get the win over Ammo Williams. And I had mentioned before that going into this, a lot of people are leaning towards Hamza Shiraz getting this win. And you saw what I named there for the odds on the bout between Raymond Ford and Nick Ball. They were pretty close. This one here, leaning more towards Hamza Shiraz. You got the thing there on DraftKings. They have Hamza Shiraz at a minus 225. So you got Hamza Shiraz there at minus 225. You got Austin Williams there at plus 180. You go with more bets. They got it at even as far as like total rounds over under 10.5. It's even there at minus 115. They're definitely leaning towards well, they got it more towards Hams and Shearez by stoppage. Let me see what's up. All right, let me hold on just a moment, man. I'm gonna see if we got something going on here. Before I get my guest on, I'm gonna try something here real quick because I keep, man, like I said, I'm gonna be I'm gonna be definitely firing StreamYard here in a minute because this is unacceptable as far as like this whole connection thing going on. But I want to bring in our great guest here with us as we're going to be going through the 5v5 card. And, you know, he's there with Brunch and Boxing, co-host, or basically, no, he's not the co-host. He's the host. He's the leader. He's the head honcho. He's the numero uno of Brunch Boxing. And they'll also, you know, have a little bit of tips here and there in reference to bets. And that's our guy, Envio in the building. What's happening?
I told you, get the StreamYard app, man.
Man, the thing is, man, I be on the computer with doing this stuff, man.
Okay.
I be on the computer doing this stuff. So like getting the app, that's like a no-go. But yeah, still though, like I should be on my my wire connection and this thing still be tripping. So I don't know, man. No, I'm gonna be on definitely writing a whole letter to StreamYard because
Man,
man,
ain't
that
you a
stuff
tech
should be
guy?
turning off. You know, that shouldn't really work. Especially when you're basically next to the router. So like even if they
Yeah,
talk about Wi-Fi, like I'm right next to the router. So that shouldn't even be an issue.
yeah. Oh, that sucks, man.
Yeah. So, but yeah, hopefully I don't have to deal with that tomorrow because I am scheduled to chop it up with Gary Antoine Russell
Oh,
tomorrow.
nice.
So we gotta get some things
We need
situated and
some
straightened out
information
here.
out of him.
We sure do since we couldn't get it out of him during the conference call. But oh man. But I'm on the whole thing here with the 5v5. I talked about the Raymond Ford and the Nick Ball, and now I'm on the Hams and Shearers and the Mo Williams and going through these prop bets too, man. It looks like, man, they really looking like Hams and Shearers is gonna get this win here, man. It's like a whole like it's almost like a difference in skill level or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's looked at as basically the best prospect in the UK right now. But I don't know, man. Emma Williams, he was talked about as a highly touted prospect for years. Now would be a good time for him to show it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they were building them up for some time, man, or at least for a couple of years. What was it since his fights against Dennis Duglin and Quatavius
Yeah,
Cash back in 2021? So I'm like, okay, now you know what's up with you. You know, we've
and
been waiting for years.
I think he beat uh Jordan Booker. I think that was a big deal because they were both undefeated at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Knocked him out in one round.
Yep.
He beat Kieran Conway. So, oh, and he beat Steve Rose. Was the last year for Steve Rose?
Yep. He beat Steve Rose in September of last year, and then had one fight in February.
Yeah. So for me, I don't know, man. I understand that Hamza Shiraz is the guy that everyone's looking at in terms of the UK, the next title contender. But I don't know. I mean, beating Liam Williams at this stage of his career, is that a big
Right.
thing now? I mean,
Yeah.
he beat
Yeah, I was
Bradley
saying
Skeet,
like
who was always trash.
Yeah.
You know, so who has he really beat? At least for me, uh, this guy Ammo, while he's been a bit of a wild card throughout the years, he has at the very least beat guys who were like undefeated at the time or who are known for like giving good work. I think anyone that's watched Liam Williams over like the last year or so, they know he's washed. He's been washed, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. We'll see. It was a good name for his resume, but more important for me, besides the name, is when did you fight him? You know, it's not like he fought Liam Williams when Liam Williams
Right.
was in his prime. I mean, what the fuck does that mean? It's Liam Williams. So we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But I mean, hey, like I said, I mean, they're really, trying to boost up Shearers here in this and saying that he might be, one of those guys next up, then like he should be able to easily, well, I wouldn't necessarily say easily dispatch of Ammo Williams, but he should be able to like outclass Ammo Williams in this. I know,
We'll
we have
see.
our guy there, what was it, Gray Johnson or whatever it is out there for BoxRec. They got, Hams and Shearers rated at number 5 overall in the middleweight division, and they got Austin Williams rated at number 9. So I mean, I don't know, but it is the middleweight division though. Like,
Very
how many
poor
people we
division,
got?
but
Yeah,
to me, this
yeah,
is a make or break fight for both guys. Now, Shiraz does have the size advantage because he's a big kid. He's like 6'2", 6'3".
mm-hmm.
You know, he kind of reminds me of Callum Smith a little bit, but we'll see.
Yeah, a little bit, but yeah, I mean, he still has to, kind of like, have these fights to kind of like prove himself to say, hey, he'll be a real solid contender there in the middleweight division, moving forward. And if he's able to get the win over Ammo Williams, then yeah, you could pretty much say like, hey, he could, be there as far as like contend for a world title maybe sometime next year or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, word. Earlier before you got on, I talked about the Raymond Ford versus Nick Ball fight. Nick Ball gets another opportunity at a world championship. We couldn't get one there, against Ray Vargas or the WBC. So he's able to have that opportunity with the WBA.
Is this the
Raymond,
right fight for Ray Ford at this time?
I don't know. It's not looking like it because, as I said earlier, Raymond Ford, has bout against Odebek Komotov over in Verona earlier this year. I thought that Komotov was, outboxing Raymond Ford for the majority of the fight, or at least in the second half of that fight, and took to, that 12th round and what happened in the 12th round, for Raymond Ford to get that win. And even after that win took place, they were talking about him moving up to 130 then. So, I just found it, strange that, he would get right back into it and defend his title, here against Nick Ball. And, like we were saying, the story during the week with Raymond Ford was, shoot, he was looking like he was supremely drained or something like that, or whatever it is. At least looking at the grand arrivals, it almost looked that way. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe at the weigh-in, he'll be able to make weight, but maybe he had to really work to get that
Yeah, but
weight
even
down.
making weight, how effective is he going to be? I mean, this is a guy who claimed that he fought his last fight at 126. He's not going to be part of the card. Then they give him a little bit of money, and he's part of the card. 3 months after that grueling fight with Komatov.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, I mean, and that's the thing, man. I said he's there at 25, but, he's, working to try to, go up or move up. And now you get, you get hit with this because like you said, it's a good thing where you could get money off of it, but outside of that, what else could you do? So I'm not all too sure if Ray Ford could get past this, man. Not all too sure about it. The odds are pretty close for it, but we said like you probably could get good value on Nick Ball money line and also Nick Ball for the stoppage. Because that stoppage is like a plus 320. Yeah, like a no plus 360. So you get like a Nick Ball and then
stay away.
Ball for the stoppage. I don't know.
I would stay away from this fight.
Yeah, I mean, by the time it gets to like the fight night, this might be real close to even on the money line though. So yeah, that might not be a good look. I mean, at least right now it said on the DraftKings that 75% of the money line bets are going towards Raymond Ford. So
yeah, well, because he's the more known name.
Yeah. So
I don't like this. I don't like the way he looks. I really don't.
Yeah. It's not a good look, man. Not a good look for Raymond Ford. So he might have to pull out another one late, I guess, for this one. We got what is it? Third bout on there. Willie Hutchinson versus Craig Richards. Was it really Hutchinson the one that made that comment to Craig Richards or something?
He said he was being racist. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Honestly, this is a who cares bout. Who cares? I mean,
like
in the grand scheme of things,
light heavyweight division with both of these guys.
Yeah. You got Benavidez in the division. You got Morrell in the division. You got Vosdig, Beterbiev, Bivol. I mean, do we really care about Hutch and Richards?
Nah, I mean they're gonna likely after this bout they're gonna be put into a lot of these little matchups like meaningless domestic matchups that they're gonna have within their promotional company. So it'll be a good little while before they even contend for anything. And if they like you said they are matched up against the Morrell or Benavidez, they'll get blasted. So
I think fans would be upset with Morrell and Benavidez for fighting them.
Oh yeah, they would. they would. They definitely would. Where they got it at? They got Craig Richards there as the favorite in this at -150. But I mean that says it's like -150. I don't even know if there's like that many people really interested in that bout to put money in it. Like they ain't even putting something on that, man. What we got next? So yeah, heavyweight bout. There, the first heavyweight bout that I'll pretty much be previewing. There is Daniel Dubois versus Filip Hrgović. Filip Hrgović there at -210 on DraftKings, and Daniel Dubois at +165. Filip Hrgović there, unbeaten, 17-0. Daniel Dubois with 20 wins and 2 losses. There, you got Dubois at 6'5" with a reach of 78. Filip Hrgović is there at 6'6". They don't have the reach on here through the box recs, but it's probably around 79 or 80, I think.
Yeah.
There for Hrgović, so he'll have the reach advantage, and this is something where Hrgović is so confident that he says that if he loses to Dubois, that he's gonna quit and have like a regular job, 9 to 5 or something like that. Against
he could just go back to the Olympics and fight Jalilov.
Yeah, or go to the Olympics or something like that. Man, I don't know, man. Daniel Dubois got like a little bit of a confidence pick me up with the win over or late stoppage win over Jarrell Miller, but it would. even with that particular fight, he still was, dealing with issues as far as like activity is concerned. And for me, I think his defense is in question, really in question. So if he gets hit with a good shot from Philip Hrgović, it might not be a good look for him, man. Even with Hrgović, he was able to, take punches from Zhang, and not, well, at least not go down technically, but still was able to, get that decision win over Zhang and have also a stoppage win over Dempsey McKean and Mark DeMori from last year. So I'm definitely leaning towards Hrgović winning this. I'm waiting for the IBF to make some type of decision, but looks like they ain't doing it now. But it's kind of interesting given that they just were saying something about Canelo Alvarez and his IBF title in the middleweight division, but they ain't saying nothing yet about the heavyweight division. Pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, Philip Hrgović at minus 210, Daniel Dubois at plus 165. They have Philip Hrgović by knockout at minus 115.
Wow. They're really favoring him heavy then.
Yeah. Yep. Because they got, Hrgović at decision at plus 450 and Daniel Dubois by stoppage at plus 275. Yeah, they're really leaning towards Philip Hrgović in this, man. Really leaning towards him on this.
Yeah. I don't see it, but okay. We'll see.
Whoa.
I believe in the young kid.
Ooh. So you're thinking that he's kind of improving a little bit, or do you feel like Philip Hrgović isn't completely refined as of yet? So
I think it's a combination of both. I don't think Hrgović is that good, and I think Dubois is getting better. But we'll see.
It's an interesting one there. Yeah, I mean, if Dubois is able to get this win, man, that's going to be really a little bit of that's going to have a little bit of a shakeup there in the heavyweight division. I'd say that you kind of could have Hrgović there floating around 9 or 10 at heavyweight right now, maybe.
Yeah.
And Dubois below a little bit below that. So hey, if he gets this win, then he kind of like gets himself back in the mix for sure. All right, now it's time for the real discussion here. The main event of main events. It's as they say, two big men bumping meat. We got Deontay, the Bronze Bomber, Wilder. We got Zhilei, the Big Bang. No, I'm not gonna say it. No, I'm not gonna say what he said. Listen, come on, man. You can't be saying that you're gonna be banging. Come on, man. Like, I don't know, man. I gotta give a chat with his managers, man. Like, they can't be just posting all of these videos of Zhang saying all this stuff, man. It's just crazy. I know it hypes you up, MBO, but come on, man. We gotta do something about this. But you got Deontay Wilder, man. Says he's rejuvenated, motivated, mind cleared. Distractions are pretty much like out the way. That's something there that was a topic of discussion, particularly after his last fight against Joseph Parker. But now seems like that has pretty much been cleared up. And he says he's looking good and very confident here against Zhang. You got Deontay Wilder as the captain for Team Matchroom in this. So there's going to be a little bit more on the line for this particular matchup, not just in the heavyweight division, but overall with Queensberry versus Matchroom. You got Of course, Wilder there with a record of 43 wins, 3 losses, and 1 draw. Zhilei Zhang, 26 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw. Of course, we know about Deontay Wilder's knockout ratio, 43 wins, 42 of those wins by way of knockout. Zhilei Zhang, 26 wins with 21 of those wins by way of knockout. You got Zhilei Zhang there at 6'6". You got Deontay Wilder at 6'7". And both guys are above the age of 35, with Wilder at 38 and Zhilei Zhang at 41. Of course, there's some buzz about what could be next for both fighters if they're able to get the win here on Saturday, particularly with Deontay Wilder. It was mentioned that he could be included in the August 3rd card against Jared Anderson. I still doubt that. But there's also still that potential that Deontay Wilder could later on down the line be involved with a fight against Anthony Joshua. But we'll see here first with what happens with this bout against Zhilei Zhang. Now, before I continue, we need more insight here on this particular bout. Okay, so we got to get the insightful person on here for him to give his thoughts and share his thoughts. All right, and that's our guy, our great guest, the boxing academic. He's in the building right now, and I know he's disappointed in me because of what happened on Sunday, but we'll work on that.
Hey, don't let NVO rub off on you. He I almost felt very sincere with his intro the last show that he had. It felt very sincere to me. At least his inflections were right. He'd be fucking up on his inflections sometimes. But yeah. So yeah, don't let it rub off because his was almost sincere last time.
Oh, the last time when you was on Brunch Boxing.
Yeah. I felt almost flattered. I felt like it was real, or at least I wanted to believe that.
Oh man!
So he could be slipping. So either one of the two.
Oh, he might be losing a step or two, man. He might be losing a step or two with that. But yeah, I'm back on it with the thing there with Deontay Wilder and Zhilei Zhang. Some people were kind of like talking about Deontay Wilder in his preparation for this particular bout, in that there might be a couple of new things that he's doing. Maybe more in reference to it, like agility or that type of thing. Like moving around as far as like dodging or moving his feet around and that type of stuff. Do you think that will be like a factor here in this match, or do you think he really even needs it in this match?
Early, he needs it. He needs to not put himself in harm's way when Big Bang can zang his ass, when Zhang can Big Bang his ass, pause. But I mean, early, he just need to worry about it early, and then once he gets to round 5, 6, then he can care less about it. But I mean, yeah, he has to be cognizant of that at all points, less so past round 6. But Zhang can hit him one time, and Zhang gonna throw a bunch of shots, and Wilder has not shown a real true ability to recover, in a sense. Recover, what I mean, he has heart. He can keep pushing through shots, but when I say recovery, I mean Tyson Fury recovery, like recover and actually win a round after the fact. Not just recover and move and not engage. Recover. When I say Usyk recovery, where Usyk get hurt and he recover and win rounds, I don't think I've necessarily seen that from Wilder per se. Okay, I have, but it was earlier. It was a different Deontay Wilder, and I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that Wilder takes him to deep waters and then he lands his shot, and he throws more 1-2s. And early, he just need to jab and stay away from Zhang. I don't think he need to engage too much unless he does have the 1-2 open, but he puts himself at risk. And you ask the question, would he do well moving? Yeah, I think he would. Because that leaves Zhang off balance, and off balance Zhang means that Zhang can't hit you with those shots that he loads up on. And I'm not sure Wilder does a great job of blocking / avoiding shots that people load up on. At least this version of him. I want to believe that what he says and that he has it. And it kind of hurt. I ain't gonna say hurt me. I'm a fan of his. I'd have been in like 5 of his fights, maybe even 6. And I'm gonna ride with him, whatever happens. But I think he's gonna win. But I just am not sure about his ability to take shots, because he will get hit. And at this point, especially if he's not in it per se, I think he'll be in it. But if he isn't, then I would rather him be okay and make movies and be Ice-T son or something than to be in the sport where because it's hard to see. I'm emotional. I ain't gonna lie. I'm invested in him as a fan, but it's hard to see him. Losses happen, right? But it's just hard to see who I saw he was, and even with the ability that he had, how he was able to transcend to see that and sort of see this lesser version of him. And I mean, maybe that's what everybody saw when they saw the other greats sort of do it. And I'm putting him in the greats category to say that even with people can say the lack of skill, lack of all this and all of that, he is one of the people that made the most out of what he had. And if he can keep Zhang off him and get him into deep rounds and then land that 1-2, he'll be fine. But, that's easy to say, harder to do. And I just haven't seen him keep people off him because the shots land so clean on him. But I'm rooting for him. And, I hope that he shows us what he showed us, even in the, I would take what he did in the Gerald Washington fight, because even in the Gerald Washington fight, he was, doing the hand fighting and keeping Gerald Washington off him. It wasn't a lot of action per se, but at least he threw the shots. At this point, he's not really throwing shots. And I saw a couple things where they said that he's going to be different. He's going to throw shots, but object in motion stay in motion, object at rest stay at rest. And it's just difficult. Even they can claim as whatever, but I would say one problem could be is that he probably getting too much information. Like, yeah, he's probably learning a bunch of things, but imagine what that does to people. Imagine all of the NFL offensive that has these super complex systems, or even NBA or whatever, right? And how slow they move versus people who have a simplified offense and they can sort of make things on the go. Yes, it's great that Wilder's learning all these new things, but game plan, you need to say, yeah, this in your toolbox, but only focus on 5 things at the most. And that's probably even too many, because he won't be able to just be fluid and just be him.
Or be comfortable in just those, 3 or 4 things that, he probably would know or be used to.
Yeah. And yeah, you got the alternative where you say, okay, if you get hurt, you need to do this. You need to have contingency plans, but tell this man a base plan and all this other stuff. Like, yeah, you want Wilder to throw the check hook, but that ain't Wilder forte for real. Yeah, he can throw it every now and then, and he get one or two of them to land every fight. But I ain't seen him throw a check hook that ever really hurt nobody. So like, it need to be there, yes, but he's so long to where even when he throw the hook, it just don't even land right. I don't know. I got a lot of faith in him. That I know he can do it. I just I am concerned as a concerned fan who's on the bandwagon. I can't admit that I am pretty biased here. But when people start talking about if I lose, it's over, I know he's being transparent and I appreciate his transparency. But when those talks start to get to flying, that's like a disease, It's a plague. It plagues your mind. And even when you get to that space where both Fury and Usyk were, they never asked themselves that question, and that's why they both pushed through the fight. But when you get to that point where you're asking yourself, do I want to do this? You do the Jared Big Baby Miller. You do that. Say it again.
You're questioning yourself.
Yeah, you start to give them performances. And Wilder's, no matter what form, he's much better than, Jared Miller, whatever his name.
Jared Anderson.
Jared. Well, I ain't talking about Jared Anderson. I'm talking about Big Baby Miller.
Oh.
His last performance where he didn't do well and got knocked out.
Yeah.
Like you could tell he didn't really like. You could tell he questioned whether or not he should be in the ring, and the way he started talking after the fight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want Wilder to go out like that. Like I don't think he will. But yeah, I'm gonna shut up and let somebody else say something.
Mm-hmm. Oh, shout out to Tip Bayless in the building on the live chat, man. He's saying that Wilder's game plan is perfect for Zhang, and that Zhang is too big of a puncher to stand in front of. But like I said, I mean, you got Wilder that says he's working on, moving around the ring and that type of stuff. And the other thing that was out there, I know that I pointed this out to MVO, and there with U-Box Academic. I know you're not quite a fan of this, but yesterday you had Dan Canobio of Inside Boxing or pay-per-view.com saying that you had the average for Zhilei Zhang and Deontay Wilder, and he said that like Zhang's 28 punches or 29 punches thrown per round are the lowest in boxing, and that Wilder's 34 punches thrown per round are the third lowest. And it's saying like it's not, that might lead to like a real uneventful or real disappointing fight. And I'm like, I don't know about that. I mean, maybe
Wilder
with these guys, you know what? Even if they throw like a limited amount of punches, a lot of those punches do count. So whether you got like 29 or 34 or 36 or even down to 25, whenever they land, that there's something that might happen. So that's the thing that at least I'm looking out for in this bout between these two fighters.
So who said this? Because that is such a surface level interpretation. I'm not trying to like talk about nobody, but that's such a surface level interpretation. Yes, on the surface, two people throwing less than 30 punches is a slow fight, but if any one of these guys hit you with any of them shots, you feel it, as you just said. That's and it could be almost over with, at any point with any of these shots landing, and then the fight get real exciting. Then
right,
it's just a surface level sort of interpretation.
Yeah. No, hey, Tip, man. No, we ain't gonna compare this to damn Shakur versus De Los Santos, man. There's nothing. You can't compare anything to no Shakur Stevenson versus Edwin De Los Santos, man. Man, listen. I still am thinking myself for not planning to go to that fight in Vegas last year.
The difference in that fight and this fight is that at least both of these two guys will engage. They will throw less punches, yes, but they will engage.
Yeah.
De Los Santos wasn't trying to engage, and Shakur, is fine with winning a boxing match. So that's the difference.
Like, how can you pursue a fighter that is reportedly injured before the fight, and then you didn't even get back into you can't even score punches against them like that? That's crazy. Joe, we on the main event there with the Wilder versus Zhilei Zhang. You always talk about the thing, like I said, Dan Canobio's stats. I did send that tweet over to you, Box Academic. So like I said though, like at least with these fighters, they're able to make their punches count. So I'm looking to see how Wilder approaches his bout, especially if he's going to try to be more of a mover against Zhilei Zhang. Because the thing with Zhilei Zhang is, he's going to be right there for you. But the thing is, do you want to get hit by him? A lot of these fighters have been, we saw what happened to Joe Joyce. right? We saw that even Joseph Parker was able to be knocked down twice in that fight that they had in that last fight. So thing about it is, I want to see how Wilder approaches this bout, particularly in those first 3 or 4 rounds. You know what I mean? Joe says Wilder's going to do his best jogging around the ring routine for the first 6 rounds until the big China man runs out of gas. I don't even think he really needs to do that much to have Zhang run out of gas.
But anything short of that would be bad game planning, and I would question if he should not switch people who gives him the right plan, because the right plan, no matter how many rounds it takes, you need to let this guy gas out, burn through that ethanol, whatever the gas, jet fuel that he want to burn through, and then spark his ass. You shouldn't be playing with fire while he got all that good gas in there. But on second thought, when I look at the guy's comments, obviously he's basing that off of Joseph Parker, Deontay Wilder, and what's the fight before that he fought Deontay Wilder?
He only had that 1 rounder against Hellenius up to that point.
Okay, so I guess he's basing it off the Joseph Parker, Deontay Wilder, and I mean, I guess you could make a good case to say that it would be boring by seeing that he didn't engage and really throw any punches, but not against a guy. Joseph Parker moved. I mean, this guy gonna be there for him to throw punches. He gonna have opportunities. The fact that he don't throw punches, he gonna have opportunities to let his 1-2 and plenty of them go, even if it is like 5 of them.
Now, also like Joe was saying, Zhilei Zhang is deceptively crafty and has power in both hands. Yes, he does. As I had mentioned there with Joe Joyce, especially in that second fight where, oh my goodness, that right cross and then the left, that messed up Joe Joyce big time. For me, at least with Parker, not Parker, but with Wilder, he can't be like necessarily what I'd say, like off balance or try to or go forward and be stumbling or lean on his front foot way too much and kind of give himself up, so to speak, because even though Zhilei Zhang doesn't really move that much, if you miss, he's gonna be there pretty much like on a solid base and be able to throw shots and land shots. And when you're able to land solidly on a fighter, man, that could be really bad there for Deontay Wilder. But like I said, I feel like if he's able to, probably control the distance well and make it to where Zhilei Zhang has to reset a lot, then he should be able to try to get through this. You know what I mean? I haven't heard from MVO here in reference to this particular fight. Let's see if he got something here before I run through the odds on this bout.
Nope. Just tune in and we'll see.
Oh, so you don't say nothing until you get on your show now. That's what I'm hearing.
It ain't got nothing to do with that. It's just I'm locked in. I'm focused.
Max, you been drinking? Your voice sounds like you got a
Nah, I'm a little under the weather.
Oh, okay.
I don't drink no more, man. What do you mean have I been drinking? I don't drink no more. But
you don't drink wine either?
Nah, I don't drink no more.
Okay.
But
me either.
My thing is this. If somebody's getting knocked out, I think the safest bet is that it's not going the distance. I think that's like minus 460 or something like that. It's not going the distance. It's just a matter of who lands first, basically. I don't think it's going to go late. I don't even get the idea that Wilder's going to somehow try to tie him out till late, because Wilder himself gets kind of tired late. So why would he do that? Wilder needs to get him when he's full energy himself. I think Wilder's going to go for the gusto right away. He's going to probably throw a few jabs, maybe a couple jabs to the body in like the early part of the first round. And then he's going to go for the first opening he gets. It don't make no sense to play with your food. It makes no sense at all.
Word. And the over under for this fight is 6.5 rounds. So that should tell you right there.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
But that's an interesting number to make you want to at least consider it, though.
I wouldn't consider the over.
Going full 12?
No, you said 6.5.
Yeah, 6.5. Yeah, but like a lot of these, well, at least most of these other fights that are part of the card, their over under is at 10.
But I'm saying the 6.5 is low enough to where if I had disposable cash to like bet, I would bet on that.
You would bet on the over?
Even with the over, it's minus 110. So
it's minus 110? Okay.
Yeah,
well, you didn't tell me the number.
Yeah, that ain't much of a difference than the under, which is minus 125. You know.
Did that change? Because I thought it was better than that.
Well, I don't know, man. I don't know. Joe says since the second Ortiz fight, Wilder has assumed the role of counterpuncher. He likes Wilder better when he's more assertive.
My only qualm and the shots where I've seen Deontay Wilder get hurt off of counters is when he does something that's sort of like a hook. Like he every time I recall him getting hurt, he does a hook. He gets off balance. He's leaning, and then he's like in this no man's zone with his chin out, and then somebody hits him. Like he's always doing something like that. Which, if that's him being assertive, then I don't want him to do that at all.
Well, I'm not all too sure because, like I said, the thing that I saw, at least from him in the Joseph Parker fight, was, after about a few rounds, he became predictable in how he threw the 1-2 or the 1-1-2 when he was coming forward. Now, like I was saying, the thing with Parker was he was able to be at a good enough distance to where, that 1-1-2 would pretty much miss, or he would pretty much be able to move to the side. You don't have to worry about it that much with Zhang, but at the same time, Zhang is also a counterpuncher himself. So we got to see how he's able to get that. Folks are on the chat are leaning towards the 7th round KO. So they're saying bet on the 7th round KO. It says Tip Baylor says it's going to take Wilder some time to catch Zhang, being that Zhang is a southpaw. Well, I mean, the thing is, like he was dealing with Luis Ortiz twice, and how those two fights kind of like went. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
As long as Wilder moves and does the hand fighting to keep that lead hand busy, which will deter him from throwing that left hand, Wilder can make it to round 6 or 7 whenever these people are saying and knock him out in round 6 or 7. But he has to do the hand fighting when he's moving to occupy him to where he don't feel comfortable throwing that shot. Right. Same plan against Luis Ortiz, but same but different.
I was gonna mention to you that same thing, because that was one thing that you were pointing out there, at least particularly in the first Luis Ortiz fight, when you had in those first few rounds, Deontay Wilder was doing that hand fighting there with his lead hand, with the left hand, and just like keeping what his Ortiz's right hand at bay basically, and trying to shoot the right there. He'll probably try to do the same thing here against Zhilei Zhang. He's gonna be the faster fighter in this one, but is he going to be more inclined to actually go ahead and shoot that right hand while trying to paw off the right hand of Zhilei Zhang in there? He says Joe says that Zhang is a 6-round fighter now. Yeah, he is pretty much a 6-round fighter. So
Matt, to that point, JR, you said that too, right? That you said yes, he is a 6-round fighter, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with that too. Matt, you said that Wilder needs to go ahead and get him out of there, but I agree with what both of these gentlemen said in that the risk for Wilder, the risk reward is it higher? Is higher in those first 2, 3, 4 rounds than to just wait to where he's a step slower to where you can probably even see his punches. You think that the risk is not too high trying to go after him in the first 4 rounds?
I think the real risk is not going after him and giving him the confidence and distance to land his shot.
Because you're considering that Wilder's going to get tired too and slow down and be more susceptible to shots as well. I mean, that's a real consideration at this point in Wilder's career.
Yeah, but even then, you probably would end up having a fight like how we had Philip Hrgović versus Zhilei Zhang in those last few rounds, where both of those guys were, tired like man, and they barely could, get through the 11th and 12th rounds, So I'd say, hey, man, if you want to conserve your energy, you'll go ahead and do that. But we'll see, man. What Hurley is bringing up a comment from Zhang. He said, hey, he underestimated Parker. He won't underestimate Wilder.
What does that even mean, though? He underestimated Parker. What does that mean?
Yeah, I don't know what that means either. It's not like Zhilei Zhang hadn't, fought guys that were, around the fighting style of a Joseph Parker, though, So I don't see where he says that he underestimated Joseph Parker. Like, Parker's former world champion. So why would you underestimate him? I don't understand it. But yeah, that's gonna be the key bout here, main event. There for this Queensberry versus Matchroom 5v5. I'm leaning towards Wilder getting a stoppage. I think it's somewhere he'll seriously stun Zhilei Zhang and either put him on the canvas or have him to where he's down to one knee or something like that. Actually, it might end up being like how Zhilei Zhang had Joe Joyce in the second fight. It could end up being like that. So that's why I'm kind of like projecting or predicting here. I'm
sorry, I cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Oh, if Wilder land, Zhang's chin ain't gonna be as good as it has been. Like, he gonna understand why Tyson Fury's chin is compromised. But I ain't trying to be funny. I think it's time for Wilder to bring back Windmill Wilder. I think it's time for him to bring him back.
Oh, like in the Gerald Washington fight?
Like when he hurt somebody, just to go ape shit on him. I think it's time.
Or the second Vermont Severn fight.
Any of them, I don't give a shit. It's time for him to bring back Windmill Wilder to where he think he hurt somebody to go ape shit on him. But I think he stopped doing that because he understood the same way Anthony Joshua, to stay composed and don't let your gas tank sort of drain.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, yeah, we'll see. Especially if he's able to, hurt Zhilei Zhang and then get back at it. Tip Bayless is pretty much in favor of that too. He says he definitely needs slap box.
Because at least he was hitting people with the damn right hand at that point. I'm just saying.
At least he was more confident in throwing that right hand.
Yeah, he was throwing it. When he hit people, he just went ape shit.
He didn't care. It was just he just threw it. He just didn't care if it landed or not. He just threw it.
He was throwing it, and people weren't throwing back because it was just too much. So I'm not being completely sincere, but because I know there were opportunities for people to land, but I'm simply saying exactly what you just said. His mindset was different. That he was fearless when he thought he hurt you. He didn't give a shit what nobody thought. He was gonna get you out of there.
Right.
Versus now, he's thinking all the offense that he's learning. He's thinking. He's considering. He's thinking, but in a different way than like how Anthony Joshua used to think. Anthony Joshua, even now, has gotten more simpler, and he stopped thinking. He just went back to the basics and then working off of other stuff, off of those basics. Wilder need to go back to his basics, jab. In this fight, he'll do better because he gets the hand fight and occupy that right hand lead. But then when what's his name make a move, like when he feint him and what's his name make a move like he trying to like counter him, he need to let that shit go and hit him. He need to fake him and then hit him. Like I don't know, man. I just want Wilder to win because I don't like the mortality talk. It's real, but it's disappointing as a fan.
Yeah, I feel you. We'll definitely see what goes down here on June 1st with this main event. The thing about it is that it's going to be likely at about 5:36 p.m. Eastern time or something like that. For this, it's another one of those marathon fight card type of things, man, where it's about like you have one fight and then it'll be about another 30 minutes before the next fight happens, or 45 minutes or something like that. So pretty much going to be preparing for another marathon with this one. So yeah, I'd say, just look for that particular bout between Wilder and Zhang to be around like 5:30 p.m. or 6 p.m. Eastern time there before, you get to the, evening part there over in the East Coast or Eastern Standard Time. So I'll definitely be looking out for that bout. And as I said, with these other bouts that are there on the 5v5, it's going to be a good event overall, for fight fans to look forward to there for June 1st. Like I said, I'm still kind of disappointed that we don't get undisputed there in the light heavyweight division. We got to wait a little bit longer, or maybe it might not ever happen. But it is what it is with that. So that's what I got on this thing here for the midweek report. We do have some action that will be on the zone here on Friday, May 31st. That features Andreas Kasarakis versus Kudratilo Abdulkakarov. I did have a conversation with Andreas Kasarakis. That is on the War Week Boxing YouTube channel, so y'all be sure to check that out. That was on Monday that we did that. But outside of that, that's pretty much it here for the midweek report. Y'all be sure to hit the like button if you enjoy the content here from the Boxing Source. We got articles that are out on the boxingsource.net, and also be on the lookout for my interview here with Gary Antoine Russell that I'll be able to post on Thursday evening there, as I'll be speaking with him on Thursday afternoon. So that'll be a very interesting conversation, to say the least. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. But with that being said, that's it for the midweek report. Catch us here on Sunday night for the Boxing Source podcast. And that's it from us, folks, man. I'm out.